There's a bit of an identity crisis that mixed race people have. But yeah, everyone does have this identity crisis where they don't know kind of like where they fit. With the white side, you're not white, they see you as black. People on the streets that see you, they don't see you as white, they see you as black no matter who you've been brought up with. But the black side, you're not really seen as black. But I've been told so many times, oh, like, are you sure you're mixed race? You don't really act that black.
Now talk about your experience, yeah.
But I do feel like most mixed race people that I know, firstly, a lot of the time their mum is white and their dad is black. Sometimes it's the other way around. However, I do think there's a bit of an identity crisis that mixed race people have, where from my experience, like you grow up in a white family, a lot of the time the connection between the black dad and the white mum has also split up. So you don't have so much involvement, or if you do, it's kind of like on and off.
Yeah.
And you always feel a little bit different being in the white family, but you're not seen as white.
Do you feel different? Sorry. When I said that, I was like, were you silent or were you silenced? Do you feel different, or are you told to feel different? Like, how
I
does
think
that
in
work?
general with people, depending if you're white passing, you look different to your family.
And you're aware of this?
You're going to be aware of it. Like,
I
your
don't know,
hair's
I
different,
don't-
your features
I
are
wasn't
different.
aware I was like Arabic or English until one side said it. So it was only
You
when
have
my,
a mix
my
of
English
both
cousin
in
was
there,
like,
yeah.
oh, my Arabic cousin. I was like, oh
What
my
does
God,
this
I'm
mean?
Arabic. And then
Yeah.
when my Arabic cousins are like, oh, he's English or he's like foreign, like Ajnabi, I'd be like, oh yeah. Like, but I didn't think of it.
Yeah, interesting.
So you did think of it. You were aware.
I was very aware that like I wasn't the same as like my white family, looks wise, mainly. Obviously, I grew up in that environment, so the culture, yeah, I know a little bit about that. But yeah, everyone does have this identity crisis where they don't know kind of like where they fit. With the white side, you're not white, they see you as black. People on the streets that see you, they don't see you as white, they see you as black no matter who you've been brought up with, even how you look, unless you're white passing. But the black side, you're not really seen as black. Do you know what I mean? So I think there's this weird thing where no one really knows where they sit and what they should identify with. And one thing that I think I've been told quite a lot of time, which is obviously a stereotype. People have this stereotype that also black people act a certain way. So if people were to look at me, I'm definitely more black than I am white. Of course, people don't look at me in the street thinking that. But I've been told so many times, oh, like, are you sure you're mixed race? You don't really act that black.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, okay.
Through different jobs, through different people that I know.
Actually, yeah.
Because I'm not the stereotypical black in the way that I act. That is racist in itself, because when people say that, they are thinking hood. Do you know what I mean? Like, you need to act a certain way to be black. They don't see black in any other. And I don't know if that's pushed through the way America looks upon black people and it's kind of come over here, or I don't know. I think it's definitely a certain stereotype that people have in their mind. And I'm always like, well, what does it mean to act black?
Yeah.
Because you're just talking about a British stereotypical black person. People in Africa, people in the Caribbean, there's obviously a difference there. Do you know what I mean? So what do you mean, like, you're not acting black, or you don't really get that, or like, you're a coconut? Do you know what I mean? Like, I've had that kind of thing. And it does always...
Is that why? Is that acting? Is that the way you talk? Or is it the way you act?
I think it's a mixture of both.
Okay.
Like, they don't see me acting or talking black. But I think it's just an interesting thing. And I do think it spans across different cultures as well. Like, I don't think it's just like black and white. I think you said that locals in the Emirates kind of have this identity issue as well. Because you're mixing two different cultures, which a lot of the time are quite different.
Yeah.
Like white culture or the West compared to like Africa, the Middle East, Eastern Asia, like there is a difference there. Whereas I feel like it can kind of be a little bit similar if you have like Arab and African, for example, like a lot of the backgrounds there.
Well, basically, like when I did some research in Abu Dhabi, I was talking to people who were specifically half local and half another nationality or ethnicity. And so what was interesting is like, similar stuff where it was more actually rather than from their immediate family feeling a disconnect. I guess some of them did have that as well, but rather than that, it was more like society's view on them as not like pure blood. It was more that they had to deal with. Like, it was such a high regard to be a local. And so that was kind of what came out from that, was that people felt like they were disregarded more because the locals were like top tier, and then if you were
Yeah.
like mixed with another Gulf state, you were like okay, but then if you were mixed with like a Hashmiya country,
Yeah.
less, mixed with any other Asia, less, and then America and England, and I think America and England were above Asia, but like
Yeah.
it was a hierarchy.
You're not
for
seen
sure.
as like fully
But it's like
that.
the view of like outside on you. So that was probably like a lot more pressurizing than the view of like a lot less pressurizing if you don't care than your immediate family.
Yeah.
You feeling like an outsider in your immediate family.
Yeah.
It's probably a lot more like confusing.
Yeah.
than like other people.
It's so true, because I feel like if you're more like comfortable, like say, it's going to affect the people where they've always had a little bit of like, what am I? Like, I don't know where like I stand or like where I come from. Like if someone's born in like the country which is like of color, or they have a lot of that surrounding, they won't care as much because they'll be like, oh, like I've been brought up with that. I know the language, I know the culture, I know the food, everything about it. Like I'm very familiar with, to people that haven't been exposed to it due to things that maybe have happened before they were born or when they were younger. So they more align with like the white side. Then it's like, oh yeah, but like I'm not part of the black side, but then I'm not part of the white. Like, where do I sit? Where do I go from here? Like, how do I identify with it?
And how do people then perceive you as well?
Yeah.
Because that will affect how you act.
100%.
And then it will affect how people then perceive you. Because it's how you perceive yourself. You kind of like project it, don't you?
Yeah.
But also the thing with that generation is, topic change, is they also embed a lot of stuff on us that's confusing. So
okay,
like
go on.
even like if you go from their view on like mixed relationships or race or whatever, they also like embed like different things like work ethic and beliefs and stuff. I know there's been like some talk about it, but in this like generation, like our generation of like when we were born, it's like anyone in their late 20s basically and early 30s is in this weird bubble right now, and they're so confused what to do with themselves because of our parents kind of telling us to do 9 to 5, like be a doctor, be a lawyer, be an engineer, whatever that vibe is, like get an office
more
job.
Traditional, like to the book.
And then it's like the younger generation, like Gen Z and stuff, are all like going more towards like flexible working, entrepreneurship, social media, podcasts, and it's like our generation's like very
trapped in the middle,
and not sure what to do. They're like, we have the 9 to 5 mindset because that's what we've been brought up and conditioned with, but then we also now want the freedom and the fun that is the untraditional, like social media. So it feels like that there's a lot of stuff that we have to unlearn from our parents. In general,
it's
like,
so true.
They're gonna confuse us
because you get both sides. Like you understand like our parents with certain things that they did. There's a lot we disagree with, but the younger generation, we get a lot of it. But there's some stuff I'm like, don't know how I feel about that specific topic. And you're in this like middle ground, and we birthed social media as well. Like that came through us.
That was from me.
That was from Faris.
Yeah, I did.
He created Facebook and Instagram. Obviously.
I was the first person to take what's it called, sponsorship on Instagram. Kim K just stole that idea from me.
I know.
Yeah.